You know, he's getting looked at. That was not something you like to see happen. Just standing into a corner and, you know, puck comes flying off the crossbar. That's tough. So certainly hoping, but I don't have a full update yet.
We've talked about, like, you know, you saying you're comfortable with guys wearing neck guards if they want to do that. You know, do you think, whether it's that or face shield, like, do you feel like that's going to be thing that maybe over the course of time you see more players wanting to start use to prevent things like that?
Full face shield?
Yeah, like what Barclay's wearing, for example.
I can't speak to that. I mean, that would be, unless something's mandated by the league, that would be a personal preference, and just like it is for right now with regard to the neck guards and, you know, the underwear that has the protection in it. That would, you'd have to ask the player that question as to if that's something they'd consider or not. Mm-hmm. I do think that you know, that having that whole cage, I do think that there's a vision thing that goes on with that, where, you know, the underwear that covers your wrist or your neck, I don't think that's as prohibitive to play the game, but I think it's probably a personal preference and a personal question.
I guess just things like that are sort of a reminder. The game is so fast.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that these things can happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's you never know either. I mean, that was, you know, there's things that happen out there. I mean, even like coaching. You know, we had a coach in the corner next to Jimmy too, and so it came off that crossbar quick and hard, and totally unexpected. When it was just, you know, there's no way that he came to rink today thinking that was going to happen. So I certainly hope he's okay. He's been playing really well for us.
Do you have, actually, I want to ask you about the counter, but have you had a rule where players have to wear helmets in pregame?
I have not.
Do you envision Keandre being in the line?
It was great to have him out here right now. I'm working through that, the lineup and that. But just to get him back, I thought getting out on the ice and having a great day of practice, that's where he wanted to be, and that was good. So I think we're still making decisions with that.
You had talked, I think, a little bit about Adam Fox and his entry into the lineup. Have you seen him, certainly his last game or two, being more instinctive?
Yeah. I even saw it inside the last game growing, and, you know, obviously not the first period. We've already talked about that, but then you're down and you need to push, and creative players need to push and do their thing, and that's when I saw the offensive instincts really, it seemed to get better and better. So he's coming back, and hopefully just keeps building off of that. His timing to do things, his speed, the way he sees the game. I mean, I think he sees the game incredibly, and his ability to find the plays or make the plays is at an elite level. And so to come back and hopefully he can push from last game. But I did see it I've seen it get better, and then inside of last game I saw it even get better inside of that game.
Peter, obviously you watch games around the league all the time, but how closely do you pay attention to what's going on with Boston, with Vegas, these other teams that are at the top of the league that you're in that same neighborhood with? And how important is it to be in that neighborhood, to be sort of among the league leaders and chasing for the
You mean just the standings?
Yeah.
I think the message is inside the room to chase Vegas. Obviously they've got a good team and they're off and running. The message is inside the room is to win the game. And I think if you start looking too far down the road, or if you start looking away from what you need to do inside of the game, like we're in control tomorrow night of what we can and can't do, or will or won't do. And that's what really we should focus on, because I believe that doing the right things in practice, doing the right things inside of a game, playing the right way will lead you to a win. And if you just keep it that small and that simple, do we want to make the playoffs like every other team? Absolutely. Do we want to have success in the playoffs like every other team? Absolutely. But right now, the only thing that really should be on our plate and on our mind is the game tomorrow and being ready to play that game.
The Jones Schneider affairs expected goal rate is actually reasonable, but they seem to be on for a lot of goals against. So
yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
I think at times there's some tough bounces for them. You know, I think they were on the ice for that rebound goal, the 3-on-3, and you know, we had a player taken down in front of the net. Do I think it was a penalty, him taken down? Not really, but he got tied up, and our low forward, it was a centerman, he got taken down, and it just left the player on the back door, and they threw a little pass, came off the pad, and he knocked it in. Is that a reflection of them? Nah, not really, not necessarily. We lost a man that fell down, and that you know, created the scoring opportunity and the goal. And so I think they moved the puck well. I think that they're a good pair. I'd like to see that switch too, you know, where they're on for more goals for than against, and I'm sure they do as well. But I still think that they're a good pair, and they
See,
play.
I think they lose confidence.
I hope not. I mean, I think players, we sit and, you know, coaches watch shifts with the players. We go over the things that we can do better. They're doing a lot of good things out there. Like you said, there's things that they're doing well. They're getting caught on some bounces. There's some of them, you know, where they could have done something, but I'm sure that's any player on our team though. But I still think that it's a good pair for us, and I think that Jonesy's come in the situations where he's, you know, been off for a while and come in, he's still, for me, a guy that moves the puck pretty well, he skates pretty well, and he does some good things for us. So,
building off of what Larry said, with the defense making adjustments on the defensive side of the puck, is it difficult to do that when the lineup is inconsistent?
you know, the lineup's been fairly consistent despite the injuries. I mean, it's not to the point of what Larry's asking. It's not like Jones came in and moved up and played with Trouba. Like Jones and Schneider had played together before and played well, and they do a lot of good things out there. And there's things that we'd like to, you know, continue to work with them and see improvement. But in the forwards, the same thing. There's been very little movement, and so I feel like there has been stability with that. Even when a game hasn't gone our way, we address things. I'd like to give it another chance to see. In most games, they've responded with playing the right way, and so I don't think there's been a lot of movement. And I think that can help at times. If we need to move it, we will. But I think that the guys have recognized an off night and come back with the same exact group or the same exact lines, and we've been able to play the right way and find ourselves win. So really hasn't been a lot of reason for me to move it.
What have you seen from Wheeler when you get 2 goals in the last game? What have you seen from him from the start of the season till now? Where's his game?
Yeah, I think so. I told him immediately after the LA King game that I thought that was his best game. He was moving his feet. He was physical. He was making things happen, and I thought he played well. He followed that up for me last game. You take the goals out of it. Obviously, the goals are the visual, and they're good. He did a lot of good things, but he was doing a lot of good things still away from the goals. He was physical. He was competing in the battles. He was physical. He was skating. He was moving his feet. He generated chances away from the goals, and he scored the goals. And so, to me, I think the last few games for him have maybe been the best since he's been here, and kind of reconfirmed that with him again today. Keep going, because what you're doing right now is right on point with what we want.
Faceoff, we talked about the overall importance of that in your mind, and obviously you got a lot of guys that are doing well in that department this season, but Trocheck's been pretty much at the top of the league leaderboard all season. Him specifically, I mean, what are the traits within his game, or what about him do you think makes him so effective with faceoffs?
Well, some guys I think they're good at it. I think their hand-eye coordination, I think their read on the opponent is good. I think their strength in the circle is good. I think there's other things that we've tried to put in place, whether it be video or practice or communication. But I mean, he's always been a higher guy. He's always been a number that's been higher, and it's great that he's.
It's like 64%.
Yeah, and the thing is too, when you're tracking it, it's good to know too. I mean, there's been games when we've been tracking it, and we know there's big face-offs coming up, and he's sitting in the circle at 11-2 or 13-1 or 13-3. So you know you got somebody who can get it done. But that's comforting as a coach to know you got somebody who can win.
I mean, even though all the guys have been pretty good, I'm sure you're looking for spots for him specifically. Did you?
Well, I mean, just sometimes he's done really well, but sometimes we'll send him out either to back it up or take it as well with another line.